Sentinels was once a powerhouse team in NA Valorant. In 2021, they were massively successful, not just in their region, but on the international stage, taking out first place in 2021's Stage 2 VCT Masters in dominant fashion, not dropping a single map throughout the entire tournament. And for the rest of 2021, they saw a lot of success, taking first place in anything they competed in. This is the year where TenZ became a household name, his flashy plays go viral, and his cheater-like aim and game sense is made clear to the world. Since then, however, it has been a struggle. Sentinels' performance in tournaments, with a couple of exceptions, has been steadily declining. Their roster has gone through controversy and retirement, and 2023 has been their least successful year yet. VCT NA is happening right now, and Sentinels, as of last week, they're not doing very well. They're 1 win and 2 losses, putting them solidly in second last position. To make matters significantly worse, after their last match against Leviathan, TenZ, the star duelist, tested positive for COVID, meaning a rookie had to sub in for their next match, and all the players had to switch their roles. That next match, by the way, is against Loud, the monster Brazilian team and the 2022 World Champions. So, what happens when a washed-up team missing their star duelist runs a rookie and completely changes their roles against former world champions? Welcome to Sentinels vs Loud, Map 1, Pearl. Before we look at round 1, there are a couple of important things to note. Number 1 is that the team comps are the exact same, which favors Loud for 2 reasons. Number 1, there is no imbalance in this game. Winning is decided exclusively by skill at Valorant. There's no spicy agent matchups or differing util. Both teams have the exact same tools. Number 2, this is a team comp that is now meta, but was originally pioneered by Loud, specifically the Harbor Viper combo working together. Loud have a very good idea of what their roles are and how to play them. With this team comp, Loud literally invented the rulebook. So with that in mind, let's have a look at round 1. Sentinels on attack, Loud on defense. Looking at Sentinel's position pre-round, it's already clear that their strategy is not straightforward. Viper is solo at mid-shops, looking to start the round by dropping a wall that divides B and B-Link in 2. The other 4 players are all at A, preparing an A execute through A main. Their plan is to use the Harbor High Tide to divide the space they have to clear into achievable chunks, and then methodically clear them out before executing onto A. Well, that would be their plan at least, if not for one key thing. Sentinels has left the spike behind in mid. Loud, on the other hand, are opening with their Viper solo on A after placing a retake wall. Viper's plan is to get information. If she sees a push, she's going to get out and then play retake with her team. The other 4 members of Loud are all on a coordinated B main push. They'll use their Harbor Wall to take B ramp and then Sky Flash to take club. They'll find out fast that no one from Sentinels is pushing B main. But will they be ready for Marved, the rookie, and his lurk? Barriers drop. Sentinels, Harbor Wall, Sky Flash A main, Viper Wall B. Zekin peeks out A main, backed by Sassy, finds it clear. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Loud have steamrolled up B main, Harbor Wall to separate ramps and club with an interesting use of the Killjoy turret to clear club. Marved has not yet been spotted, but he's now lone wolf, holding an angle that 3 Loud players intend to peek. What's worse, because of the Viper Wall start of round, Loud knows Viper could be lurking, so they are going to clear their corners. Sentinels, after seeing no 1A and seeing the aggressive B Harbor Wall, have an idea of what Loud is doing. Harbor begins to rotate over to Marved to provide support, but he's not fast enough. Loud are already there. Marved is alone, depth, spots 3 Loud players, and salutes his friend goodbye. 1v3 situation, what can Marved do?
But it's Def going to be spotting this, so they're going to be waiting into it. Marv's up close, covers in takes.
And it's a baptism of fire for the rookie. Cowanzine solo peeks him and then just drills him in the head with the frenzy. Loud now with the numbers advantage, retreat back to B site, and then wait for Sentinel's next play. All 4 Sentinels players now chilling in spawn, their trickery with the spike now made obsolete. They have taken no space on the map, meaning they have to clear everything, and with Viper dead, her B wall is rendered useless, meaning all that Sentinels have to take either site is 2 Harbor Cascades and a High Tide. It's not looking good. Sentinels call to execute B, and they clear their way up through clubs and onto ramps. They haven't been making any sound, so 2 of Loud's players are sat on A. 2 years, however, Jump peeks B and spots all 4, so Les and Sadak scramble back to B to support their team. Sentinels have been spotted, so they call to execute fast.
Sentinels going to be trying to get this hit going right into Aspas.
Speaking of execute, Aspas just brutally brutalizes Pancada. Loud's Harbor then immediately walls the choke. In a 3v5 situation, Sentinels have no choice but to Gallipoli through the Harbor wall into an acid rain of frenzy bullets.
Trailblazers exchanged, finding ways. Stun on either side, really slowing this one down with 20 seconds remaining. Just firing line with the frenzies, and it could be anyone's game, but at the end of the day, it's Loud who claimed that pistol.
And in the end, it was a valiant effort. Sentinel's own Harbor Wall was excellent. It gave them space to charge through, but the numbers advantage was almost insurmountable. Round 1 goes to Loud. Round 2 setup. Sentinels are on a save with 3 Sheriffs and 2 Classics. Their goal this round is to get picks, steal guns, and get ultimate points. In terms of their positioning, they're running 1B, 3 mid, and 1A. Skye is currently also on A, but her plan at the start of the round is to flash A for info, and then regroup mid, leaving Killjoy to hold the flank. Marv, after getting blasted in the head last round, has decided to still hold B flank, but from a far more aggressive position. He drops his wall pre-round, allowing him to walk up into clubs before the barriers drop. Sentinels is positioning like this for 2 reasons. Number 1, they're aware of Loud's tendency to push out on defense, particularly when Loud has better guns, so they're leaving 2 flank players to punish any Loud aggression. The second reason is that having 1 player watching each site allows Sentinels to determine which site is less well defended, giving them a direction to go after they take mid control. If, for example, Viper sees no resistance and Killjoy sees a 3-man push, then after taking mid control, Sentinels will use their mid control to push down B link and end B. Sentinel's read, by the way, is spot on. Loud has 3 players stacked A. They're looking to take A main control with Harbor Wall and Skyflash. Their plan, similar to last round, is to get numbers advantage by taking map control extremely fast, and then to retreat to sites and use the Harbor and Viper utility to force Sentinels into a death charge. Loud can get away with this because the 2 players who aren't in the A3 stack are Killjoy and Viper, both operators capable of solo holding a site or an area. This round will come down to Sentinel's ability to flush out and execute the enemy Killjoy holding mid before the Loud 3-stack death squad gets a numbers advantage or takes too much space. The barriers drop. Loud Harbor Walls A main and charges up to take the space straight into Sarsi's Skyflash. Aspas, inhuman reactions, 180s it and doesn't get flash, but his other 2 teammates do. Sentinels now knows that at least 2 Loud players are charging up A main, but they recognize that their game plan isn't about fighting A main, it's about getting mid control and killing whoever's holding it. So Sentinels, after detecting a Loud stampede in A, call to leave it alone and speed up their mid execute, leaving Killjoy to buy time. From the Skyflash A detecting 2 players, Sentinels know they want to end B, so they do a frankly really cool Harbor Wall and sneak Zekken into an off angle. Meanwhile, Marv rotates off of B club to grab the spike and come mid. But what's this? Loud didn't actually push up A main. They charged, got detected, rotated to mid, but left Aspas to pressure the Killjoy. Loud's Viper is also rotating mid. Suddenly, it's a 4v4 in mid. Sentinels has worse guns and is also the team that needs to push. They're going to need something magical.
They've got some very natural roles here. We'll see if they can go for a bit more of a puggy style in this game.
Gonna have to be leaning into it. Maybe that's just it.
And there it is. Harbor Wall drops, and Loud's Killjoy is surprise one-tapped from the off-angle Jet sneaked into, and it was before she could even get any value out of her util. B just got busted wide open, but Sentinels don't have any information, so they're scared to act on it. Instead, they try to go for the unexpected play and end A to avoid having to push through the doors.
Playing a lot of the Jet in ranked as well, just trying to get used to it for his time on the big stage. Still a bit of a repeat and a lovely trade. Def taking a head off Kawazine still.
Despite the amazing trade from Def, Sentinels is pushing right into Spectre Spray and getting massacred. They realize their mistake and go back to playing for B Link, but they're too late. Les has had the time to walk there with a Spectre of his own. Let's see what happens when Sentinels tries to push.
Tucked in that corner the entire time. Les grabs another one. Spectres are spitting.
Yeah, so much confidence.
Just a clinical execution by Les, taking out 2 players, no sweat. Pancada in a 1v3 against the best team in their competition with a classic against 2 Spectres and a Marshal. Let's see what he can do.
Touch on more of those little story points as well that we were kind of hinting at, and the desk has been, slamming home as well.
30 seconds left.
But what an uphill battle. It feels like you put it lightly if you call it an uphill battle for Sentinels. You're starting on Pearl. It's a map where they got absolutely smashed on.
Nah, he had no chance. Round 2 goes to Loud. Round 3 setup. Sentinels on a full buy, Loud on a save. Sentinels know they have the better guns, so they're confident in playing split up and maximizing their map pressure. They start with 2B, 3 mid, and the same Viper wall as every other round. Marved and Depth, Harbor and Viper, are playing together on B main. They're going to attempt to take control of B main using Harbor's Cascade, while the rest of the team works through mid. Loud, on the other hand, have 4 players B main and the Viper anchoring A. Their plan is to charge up B main using Harbor Wall and Skyflash to take space and clear club, ideally steamrolling over whoever Sentinels sent to push or get info B main. They know they're down in guns, so they're going to try to make up for it with numbers, speed, and util usage. This round will come down to how long Marved and Depth can hold off Loud's 4-man steamroll while the rest of their team takes space. The round starts. Loud, Harbor Wall B to take ramp, Skyflash through club, Sentinels, Cascade down main, looking to take space but are forced back by the sheer aggression from Loud. Depth rotates off of Marved to back up his team in mid, leaving Marved in a 1v4 very similar to round 1. This time, however, Marved is positioned extremely aggressively, looking to deny Loud from entering club. He snakebites the choke and re-peeks, attempting to punish any vulnerable players, but no one pushes through. Realizing that Marved with a rifle isn't possible to push into, Loud rotates back to B and starts looking for info. But while this B nonsense has been happening, the rest of Sentinels have wasted no time. They have full control of mid and both paths to A and B. They can go wherever they choose. Marved, still holding B club, waiting for a flanking player to turn into an easy pick. Sentinels begin to work through A towards Art. Skyflash clears the area, sees nothing. In this play, Sentinels are thinking, hey, well, we know they 4-man charged B, so A is likely less well defended. And the reasoning is good, but they were too slow. Loud is ready for an A hit. Their teammates have rotated, and the Viper utility is set up perfectly. Recognizing this, Sentinels, after clearing Art, rotate back to mid, which seems to be a little bit of indecision, but while it looks crazy, Loud is stuck on site. They know mid is entirely Sentinels controlled, so they have no way of getting any info, and because it's Sentinels controls, they can't retake the space that Sentinels just cleared without being at risk of just getting killed. So Sentinels run back to mid shops where they left the spike, but time is ticking down and they haven't even come close to executing on a site yet. So what's their plan? Marved blooms his B wall and blasts down a Killjoy turret holding B main. Sarsy, however, has the spike and he starts to run towards A. His team begins to follow. With 30 seconds left on the clock, Sentinels are about to begin their A execute onto Loud's stacked site. Sentinels clear out Art and double peek site. Snakebite blooms in the choke, a delay they cannot afford. They have to execute now. So, Zekin cloudburst onto site, dashes into it. Meanwhile, Marved and Pancada have been pushing up A main. Sentinels are about to pincer onto site. Zekin peeks out and his team follow. Les sprays down Sarsy, 4v5. Aspas through the harbor cove takes out Zekin, 3v5, Marved claps back 2 kills through the wall and 1 on the left, and Pancada with 1 to finish. Sadak now in a 1v3, can he clutch it for Loud?
Marved has pulled magic! 3v1!
It was looking done.
Just covering everybody that tried to flood in there and deny the plan.
It was looking finished.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm
Sadak.
grenade out.
1v3.
Oh no.
Picked up. He's still alive with 40 health, only 3 bullets though. Needs a bit of an upgrade and won't find it. Oh, shutting that down before it just gets that bit more dangerous.
And it is Marved who, after a long break from professional Valorant and on a brand new team, carries Sentinels to their first round victory of the match. Round 3 goes to Sentinels. Round 4, and finally both teams are on a full buy. For Loud, this is Aspas's Operator Full Shields round, so both teams are unbelievably low on money. Winning this round is super important. And Loud want to win it fast. They're doing the classic Loud setup, an attacking Death Squad and 2 anchors, Viper and Killjoy. They know now that Sentinels loves mid, and they think that with their Operator buy, they can easily get opening kills on Sentinels while they attempt to claim mid. So the Death Squad is stacked at A mid. By the way, Loud is right. Sentinels are playing for mid, and in a big way. Usually they go for a 1-3-1 or 1-2-2 setup so that they can take space elsewhere on the map. This round, however, Sentinels are doing a 1-4. They're going to blitzkrieg mid. But do they suspect Loud to peek them? Are they ready for Aspas and his Operator? Round starts and Loud sprints up the corridor ready to peek mid with their Operator. Sentinels, however, are just sitting still, doing nothing? What are they up to?
Feels like a long break, I'm sure, to him. But he's only really missed 1 major tournament.
It's true. Flash and a peek! Oh my goodness!
Well, tell you what, you'll never see this in a ranked game. So what happened? Well, Sentinels know that Loud likes to push. They also know that Loud knows that Sentinels likes mid. So, they gambit that on Aspas' operator round, he will rush mid with a death squad looking to punish Sentinels for trying to take mid control. So, at the start of the round, they sit and wait for Loud to push up and get into an aggressive position. And then, boom, flashbang, tap tap. Sentinels in a 5v3.
Second set up quite well for that one.
Yeah, that's amazing. Don't know whether he managed to dodge a flash somehow. Marv, Sadak is just determined to take that fight.
Sadak aimed Jules Marv to try to get it into a 3v4, but he gets clowned. And now it's a 5v2, free plant on B. Look at this harbor wall, by the way. It's beautiful. It's a 5v2. Sentinels are feeling dominant. It's time to go on the hunt. Sentinels seek out the last two players. Pankata finds 2 years. And Les actually manages to take out Zekin and escape the round with his life. But in the end, it was a convincing round win for Sentinels. Round 5, Sentinels are on a full buy and Loud are on a save. Sentinels have Jet Knives, Harbor Reckoning, and they're 1 point off of Viper's Pit and Sky's Seekers, but they really don't want to use them because Loud is on a save. So ideally, Sentinels would just roll over them and have all ults for the next round. Sentinel's plan is very simple. Viper's going to establish B control and stop flanks like she has been all game. Killjoy is going to get mid control and allow Sentinels the choice to rotate, and the rest of the team is going to methodically work up through A, clearing corners and flushing out enemies with util. They will leave the spike behind so that if they encounter too much resistance on A, rotating B is very easy. It's a simple, non-committal attack strategy. Loud, however, are sick of Sentinels having mid control. Their plan this round is to util dump mid and keep control of it to allow them to easily rotate while simultaneously denying Sentinels the easy ability to. Les, who saved his rifle, along with Cowanzine in 2 years, are all going to work together toward this end. Will Loud's mid-committal work as intended and make the round awkward for Sentinels, or will Sentinels recognize the weakened A site and capitalize with a quick plant and an easy hold with their stronger arsenal? The countdown expires, Harbor insta-walls all mid-angles that attackers could peek from, Sky flashbangs into mid, and 2 years and Les work up through mid. Meanwhile, Sentinels have done a similar Harbor Wall Sky Flash and have control of A main, looking to work up into A. But Sentinels' Harbor Wall is actually working against them here. Sadak, with the cover it provides, is able to walk up and spam through the choke, delaying Sentinels' rapid A execute, and making Sentinels feel as if A is their stacked site. So instead of executing onto A, Sentinels grab the A orb and then rotate to B. Now, because of how Loud started the round, rotating to B should be almost impossible for Sentinels to do because Loud has mid control. But actually, Loud relinquished mid control when they heard the pressure A. Les, the player with the rifle, ended up leaving mid and going to A, meaning that 2 years is the only person holding mid, and when his wall drops, he's going to have to retreat or be caught out as the guy with the sheriff in the AR-15 fight. So despite how Loud started the round, mid goes to Sentinels yet again. Loud still likely thinks that an A hit is coming, so 2 years rotates to A, but as he does it, he throws a cascade mid that simulates his presence, making Sentinels hesitate. That's very good spidey sense from him. Sentinels don't have enough information to push through that cascade wall into B link, but with mid control firmly established, Saucy grabs the spike, and they run towards B main. As they're doing this, Loud sky flash A main, and the flashbang sees nothing, so they now know that Sentinels is either hitting B or in mid. This information prompts a mass migration of Loud's players from A to B. So Sentinels have about a 10-second window right now where they can execute onto B before Loud's rotate. Let's see if they can do it. Marv clears B main and his team follows. Marv also grabs the ult point. Viper's Pit is now online. Sentinels sprint down onto B and pop Sky ult. It finds 2 on site and 1 rotating, so Sentinels know their opportunity to plant is right now. Viper's Pit is also popped as Saucy flashes backside and Zekin follows it. Spike is planted. It's a 5v5 on B side. Sentinels with the Viper ult. Let's see what happens.
To Loud.
Loud might just be happy with that one. It's a difficult retake. That's just an angle. Watch for a bit of spam into the common position.
Here.
Kill claimed.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, that's dangerous. With Marv going down, so does the pit. All your coverage is finished, and a rifle in the hands of Cowanzine. Well, anything's possible. Rifle to the side, tries to reset it, but Pankata maintains composure. Locks down the angle. 3 still up. Tap with a rifle, offset with the movement. Reset enough that it should be safe hands, but weak enough still. No, spike tapping and ticking away. Shot 1, 2, Zekken with 3 in a round. It is secure, but my god, is it expensive.
So Sentinels take the round, but gee, was that costly, not just in terms of money, but both Sky Seekers and Viper's Pit were popped on Loud's save round, which means they won't have either for this next crucial round. Loud call a timeout, presumably in shambles, discussing why they're 2-3 down after winning the pistol round. In all seriousness, they've probably realized by now their mid-push strat isn't working. What could Loud be cooking up? Round 6 begins, and it's time to bear witness to the fruits of Loud's timeout. Now, if you're an attentive viewer, you might be thinking, Matt, this looks like the exact same position they used in round 5, and you would be right. This is the exact same position they used in round 5, even down to the positioning of the Killjoy utility. What exactly did Loud call a timeout for? I don't know. What did they discuss during the timeout? Probably dinner. Sentinels, on the other hand, have changed their positioning marginally. Pancada and Zekken have done a tag team switcheroo, but otherwise both teams' plans are the same as last round. Loud wants mid control, Sentinels wants A main, and the ability to rotate. Now, in the context of the game, this round is extremely important. If Sentinels win, Loud is forced to save next round, which would likely result in another round loss, putting Sentinels up 2-5. If Loud win, it's less detrimental due to the fact that Sentinels are on a 3-round winning streak and they have good eco, but it would mark a momentum shift in the game, which Sentinels cannot afford. The barriers drop. Loud harbor walls mid-angle, sky flash through. Sentinels cascade A choke, rotate mid. Loud, after showing presence mid, rotates to A. So this is what they were cooking. Loud shows presence, attempting to deny Sentinels from taking mid, and then rotates to A site. The idea is to hold mid without needing to commit any players and bait Sentinels into pushing onto a stacked site. One small problem though. Sentinels was faking an A push. Sentinels really wants mid. Both teams have faked each other and ended up doing a switcheroo of tactics. Sentinels skyflash harbor cascade through to B doors and walk through the harbor wall. Mid control firmly in Sentinels' hands. There's not a lot else going on the map. It's a very slow round. Marvd is watching B flank like he always does. Pancada's covering A. The B doors cascade drops, and that's the cue for Sentinels to start trying to work up through Link. Sentinels do have one problem though, and that's Viper. She senses Sentinel's presence and blooms a brutal one-way choke, cutting off any possibility of a B-Link push until it falls. Sentinels find themselves sitting stuck in mid, waiting for the poison orb to drop. Loud, however, has not been so sluggish. Sensing a B hit, some of their players rotate towards B through spawn, and 2 years comes to back out Les in Link. The poison orb drops, and Sarsi readies his Skyflash to push through into Link, but Viper snake bites doors, putting yet another obstacle in Sentinel's way, and delaying their push further. Then, right as the snakebite drops, Loud harbor cascades the doors. Zekken says, screw this, follow me, I'm going in. He pushes through the cascade and gets one-tapped by Les. Sentinels stuck in mid, now playing without their entry. Right after the first harbor cascade drops, another one comes through, and Sentinels have had enough. Deb throws his high tide to take some space, planning to allow all 4 Sentinels players to pour through into Link, but as he does this, the Viper one-way blooms, which means that Sentinels can't push through even with their high tide because they have no way of clearing the space inside. The cruel irony of this is that there is no one on Loud watching that Viper one-way, but Sentinels are still stuck. They can't push through. The one-way finally drops, and Sentinels charge through. Les retreats to site and pops his Viper roll. It is looking so bad for Sentinels. Let's see if they can do anything to turn it around.
Need an advantage, and they need it now. Shot going to be hitting there. Dog's going to be broken. 10 seconds. They can't even get through to this. It's half-baked at best, and the spray transfer. Sassy. Maybe a chance, but not quite now. No time on the clock. Marvd's the last player standing. Exchange there with a rifle, but okay. Pushing back the aggression.
And Loud dominates Sentinels in this crucial round 6, only using 2 ults and keeping Sentinels stuck in mid for the entire round. 3-3 going into round 7. Sentinels need to win this one to save their economy. Round 7 setup, and again, both teams are on a full buy. Both teams have Jet Knives, Harbor's Reckoning, and a one-off Killjoy ult. In terms of positioning, Sentinels for the first round the whole game are keeping it very simple. They've decided on a fast 5-man B execute, leaving Killjoy turret in mid to watch the flank. Loud, on the other hand, are doing a significantly different setup to what we've seen before. Usually they like to run a sort of attacking death squad, but this round they're doing a 1-2-2, with their 2 mid players leaning towards A. Their plan is to fake having mid control again and then play on A. If Sentinels plant B, they're content with just simply playing for a B retake. This means that the only Loud player holding Sentinel's 5-man push is less. How will he play it? The barriers drop. Killjoy drops her turret mid and Sky flashes B main. Zekken double updraft, looking for a pick with his knives from an off angle but finds nothing. Depth cascade down B main as team follows. Les spams through the wall and backs off. Meanwhile, Loud's mid players have begun to rotate towards B, but Aspas and Sadak are both stuck on A. Dev then drops his Reckoning on site and walls off all defender angles. Marv blooms his wall, and B site is now Sentinels controlled. They get a free plant in the cove, rotate back off site, and pop the Killjoy ult in response to 2 years Harbor ult, a clinical B execution from Sentinels. Sentinels now with perfect sight of the spike and full site control. How will Loud break their grip on B?
To break this! And damage not done. Not enough to it. 2 players detained. Loud.
But they can't go hunting for them.
Deep flash around the corner, dodge for the moment. High tide in their faces as well. Still, Loud could still be favored because they have not given up this space. Pushed up through, 4 kills for Kawazine. Oh, not even going to be able to hunt out that ace, is he? Ooh.
Amazing retake from Loud. That's why they're the best team in this competition. Start of round, Les rotates offsite with complete confidence that when Sentinels plant, Loud can retake, and then Loud deliver. Kawazine and 2 years working together with their util to create chaos for Sentinels, and then Kawazine through the util onslaught just calmly taps heads and takes the round. Sentinels' economy now in shambles. Their ult situation very dire. 4-3 for Loud coming into round 8. Round 8 begins, and I do have to say I was actually wrong about the Sentinels' economy situation. Because they've been buying light shields every round, and instead of buying a gun last round, Zekken ulted, Sentinels somehow have enough to afford yet another full buy, despite losing 2 crucial economic rounds in a row. And their ult situation is still very bad. Sentinels have nothing, and they're against Jet Knives and a Killjoy lockdown. Both teams on a full buy, Loud with some ult and Aspas with an operator. The positioning from Sentinels is exactly what you would expect. Last round they got dominated when they rushed B, so they're going back to their old faithful. Take mid control and hit the less well-defended site. Depth is going to fake a fast B. He's going to cascade down B main, and Viper's going to bloom her wall. But the real goal of Sentinels is mid control, with Pancata and Marved watching flanks, just like every other round. Loud is also going back to basics. They're returning to their Death Squad strategy, but this time, Aspas is holding B main with his operator instead of Sadak. They're going to try to push up A, try to get numbers advantage, and then retreat. Again, round 8 will come down to Sentinel's ability to decisively take space in the time that Pancata can buy them by holding off the Death Squad. The barriers drop. Loud, Harbor Wall, Skyflash A main. Meanwhile, Sentinels cascade down B, Depth also throws his cove, and then Marved blooms his wall. In mid, Les spots Zekken with a jump peek and pings it out. Zekken and Sassy walk up through mid, and Depth rotates over to join them. Meanwhile, Kawazine and 2 years are rotating over to B, perhaps fearing a fast B push through mid or main. Aspas is still watching B main with the operator, but despite Aspas's faithful watching, no one's coming. Sassy flashes through mid doors and walks through when he sees nothing. Mid and B link control goes to Sentinels. Kawazine wants info, so he sends his cat through the Viper wall and pings out Zekken. Knowing they've been spotted by someone who has a flashbang and wary of Aspas's operator, Depth sends out his Harbor Cascade. And this cascade actually ends up saving his team from getting killed because it stops the operator peak directly after the flashbang comes. Here's the cool part. After cascading down B link, Sentinels rotate off. And the fake works excellently. Expecting a B hit, 2 years rotates B and Kawazine takes main control, while Aspas sits on site with his operator. Sentinels have baited 3 players to the wrong site and are now going to execute as a 5 to a site with 2 players. Make that 1 player. Les gets wallbang headshot. Marved peaks too early, and Sadak has the discipline to just take him out. This means that 2 years now has time to rotate back, and he gets to wall off the choke. But Sentinel's own Harbor Wall stops 2 years from coming on site. Sentinels Skyflash on site and begin their execution.
Still alive, free aiming on top of the box. Flash. Flash is bad. It's bad. They think it's cleared. They're jumping right round the corner. Right into his face, and he's still alive, still kicking. Bit of a nuisance still. Instinct on show here by Def.
A reflank by Kawazine could be devastating right now. It's taken Sentinels so long to get in and get this plant down.
This is important. Spider's about to be taken around main despite the spike going down. Zekken was watching.
Great stuff.
Aware of it. Into a 2-on-3, and Aspas does have the knives, but he's retaken with the operator nevertheless. Pushing forward, spamming to the corner. Aspas is caught. You know where 2 years is. He was just spamming clean.
Sentinels, after baiting Loud onto B, and with the presence of mind to watch out for Kawazine's flank, take the round convincingly. 4-4 going into round 9, both teams with good eco. Sentinels call a timeout to discuss tactics. It'll be interesting to see if their timeout has any more effect on their gameplay than Loud's did. Round 9 set up and both teams on a full buy. Jet Knives and Killjoy ult for Loud, Sky ult for Sentinels. Seems after the timeout, Sentinels are feeling brave. They've decided to go for a B main push, running a 3-1-1 with Viper and Killjoy holding mid. Loud have their harbor set up to take B control, walling Club's exit at the start of round to put any B aggression from Sentinels on hold. Enforcing that is TenZ, who will flash for vision and then hold that angle with his rifle. Loud also don't want to give any space B link. Harbor and Jet will play together to hold doors. Les will hold A art and Killjoy will hold A main. It's a brick wall set up from Loud. No space is uncontested. It'll take coordination and excellent util usage to break it. The round starts. Loud, Harbor Wall, Skyflash Club. Sentinels respond with their own cascade into Skyflash. Sentinels Killjoy drops her turret mid to establish mid control, and Marved watches from shops. Les insta-breaks the turret and rotates back to A. Meanwhile, TenZ, suspecting a mid-push through Link, abandons his post to join Aspas and Tuyas in Link. TenZ doing this frees up B main, but Sentinels don't know that, so they Skyflash through, drawing Loud's attention back. Harbor Wall drops and Zekken walks up to jump peek. When he jump peeks, he sees nothing, so Depth cascades down B main, and Sentinels walk up to take control. Saucy grabs the ult orb, Seekers online. Depth grabs a spike. On the rest of the map, Pancata gives up A main control to walk over to Marved. Sentinel's plan is to have 3 players go through main and create chaos, and then use that chaos to sneak Marved and Pancata through Link. But Sentinels aren't ready for the fact that Aspas is diligently watching A Link, ready for anyone to push through doors. Regardless, Sentinels begin their execute. Sky Seekers, Harbor Cascade, and Prowler all get popped. Feeling pressure to help his teammates, Aspas rotates off mid-right as Marved and Pancata walk through doors, killing Les. What a timing! TenZ goes down too. Aspas flicks around trade Zekken, but Sentinels is already on B site, Tuyas in a 1v3. He takes out Depth, but in mid, Sadak gets killed by Pancata. It's just a massacre in B Link. Now a 3v1 situation for Tuyas, but he can't do anything. Sassy just walks in the cove and executes him. Just a brutal round from Sentinels. That now means that coming into round 10, Sentinels have a full buy, and Loud has a save. Sentinels are thinking, hey, B went pretty well last round, so let's just do it again. So they're running a 4-1 with Killjoy holding mid by herself. They're gambiting that with their better guns, they'll be able to run over whoever is defending B, and because Loud is saving, their retake will be without the venom that we witnessed in round 6. Loud are just going back to basics and taking control mid. They're going to Harbor Wall, Skyflash for mid control, and then walk up either through Link or through Spawn to try and get a flank. But will they be ready for Sentinel's 4-man push, and will Pancata be able to mow them down with his better gun? Barriers drop. Loud, Skyflash Harbor Wall mid, Sentinel's Skyflash Harbor Cascade down B main. Pancata sees the mid presence and nopes out to join his team B main after dropping his turret. Sentinels now doing a 5-man push down B main, and they're not walking. Sentinels sprint down onto site, and hearing the footsteps, Les runs off site to play retake with his team. Depth does a gorgeous Harbor Wall and secures B site for Sentinels. Cove goes up, Spike goes down, and now it's time for the retake attempt.
Rest from Les, share shots going a bit wide here. Still, you want to maintain some presence of side control here, but it is being cleared quite rapidly. Updraft. Aspas trying to take that high ground angle. Dash active! What is that from Marved? A shot to land, a shot to hit. Presence of mind not there, but sprayed down eventually. Zekken gets the kill. Low enough though that he will fall. Enough opportunities, too many perhaps. But eventually brought down. Sadak. Time running so damn low now. He's going to be walking right into the crosshair of Marved.
Sentinels take round 10, 6-4 up on Loud, with 2 rounds to go in the half. How about that shot on Aspas from Marved, by the way? That's crazy. Mid-updraft, head tap, bye-bye. Coming into round 11, both teams are on a full buy with a healthy amount of ultimates. Particularly of note is the fact that both Killjoy ultimates are online, and that only Sentinels has their Viper's Pit. For the attacking team, a Killjoy lockdown to clear sight into a Viper's Pit to make retake almost impossible is a crushing combo. However, it is made significantly weaker due to the fact that Loud has their own Killjoy ult that they can drop as a countermeasure. In terms of positioning, Sentinels are surprising absolutely nobody and yet again vying for mid control. It looks like they're running a 2-3, but they're actually going to do a 4-1. Their plan is to Skyflash and Cascade down A main to simulate presence, but after that they're going to leave Marved behind and then do a 4-man push through mid to A. This is a cool strategy for a couple of reasons. Number one, if Loud is playing an aggressive B push, like they're prone to doing, it leaves Killjoy on A, who has no way of confirming whether Sentinels are coming through A main. which will force mass rotates from the Loud players. And number 2, if Loud ever chooses to rotate this game through mid or spawn, Sentinels will get there first, which means easy picks. They're trying to force rotates and then play for picks. Loud, however, are running a strategy that directly counters this idea. They're doing a 3-man A main push, with Killjoy holding B with the Viper wall, and then Viper holding mid doors. Now, why does this counter the strategy? Simple. Process of elimination. Loud will push into A main into the Skyflash and Harbor Cascade with their own Skyflash Harbor Cascade. They will hold A main and see nothing because Marv won't make contact. He's trying to get a pick from a scum spot. Sadak won't see anything B main, and then Les won't see anything through mid doors, which leaves only A art as the only possible place that Sentinels could be going, which happens to be exactly where they are going. It also tells Loud that Sentinels are doing a 4, if not 5-man push, because there is no presence anywhere else. If this round is played optimally, because of this perfect information, Loud has a massive advantage. The barriers drop, the Skybirds meet each other midair, and both detect players. Harbor Cascade meets Harbor High Tide, and Loud sprints up aggressively. A main control goes to them. Marv backs off to scum an angle, while Saucy and Depth rotate to the rest of the team. Sentinels quietly work their way up through A art. Loud has seen nothing anywhere since the start of the rounds, and the process of elimination kicks in. Loud knows exactly where Sentinels are, and begin to rotate to back up the A defenders. Sentinels still playing quietly don't know their jig is up. They need to play faster, or they're gonna push onto a 5-stack site. Depth drops his Reckoning and the Prowler goes through. Zekken Cloudburst dashes onto site, following the Prowler up through A main. He sees nothing, but Marv gets operated right as 2 years Pete's Zekken. It's a trade 1-for-1. Depth high tides back site and Sentinels take space there. Loud pops Seekers, Depth spams them down. Les looking to work onto site, but at the same time, Pancata peeks Sadak and gets one-tapped. Aspas peeks A main as Les walks through the high tide. Les takes out Depth, but Zekken trades them 2v3. Sadak pops a lockdown, but Saucy spams Aspas through the wall, 2v2. And it's now a foot race to B site. Can Sentinels make it before the Killjoy ult pops, or will they get detained? Sentinels running, and they barely get there, 1 second left. But little known to them, there was also someone else competing in this foot race, and he won. Sadak's already on B. Sentinels pushing right into his crosshairs, but it's a double whiff, and Kawanzine is just in no man's land. I don't know where he is. He's walking down B main, and Sentinels are just planting. It's all on Sadak. It was a fake plant. Kawanzine peeks out B main and gets one-tapped. 1v2 for Sadak. Sadak in a 1v2. Real plant this time. Peeks out. Whiffs on Saucy. Peeks around the corner. Takes out Zekken. Oh my god, and takes out Saucy. Just easy for the man on the Killjoy. Absolutely brutal. And it's with that piece of individual brilliance that Sadak carries his team, particularly carries Kawanzine, who just entered that round, to a 5-6 coming into round 12. Round 12, and it's the last hurrah for Sentinels. They have Killjoy ults, they have Viper ults, and they have Jet Knives. And they're only playing against a single Harbor ult. Sentinels have called for a 5-man push onto B site. Now, if you recall, B site is a graveyard for Sentinels. In this game, they got flawless here. They almost lost a round when they had rifles and Loud had sheriffs, and they would have lost that round if not for dumping a silly amount of ults on Loud's save round. They had a round where they were 20 seconds left when they broke through mid doors, and then they ran into a Viper ult and got massacred, and then they also had the pistol round. Most pressingly, last round, Sadak absolutely drilled them here. Out of 5 rounds losses in the first half, 4 have happened on B. Sentinels are unperturbed. Frankly, they don't give a shit. This is the final round, and they're gonna go all out. Now, I could try to analyze what you're about to see, but I genuinely don't think it's possible. Essentially, every player is about to press every button they have all at once. Both teams' goal this round is not to win, but to decimate. So instead of trying to make sense of the fiesta you're about to witness, I'm just going to let the footage play, and I'm going to let the commentators do my job for me. It's 6-5 as the barriers drop. Sentinels attempting a B execute, both teams on a full buy.
A lockdown, they got a Viper's Pit.
Get out of my way!
Shove it into B.
Try and use the ults as well to take that B plant, but there's one obstacle they're going to be facing. That's that Reckoning. It means they can't really play anchored deep into the back of B. If they do opt to into the B post plant, they're all going to be playing it from far back positions. We know how good Loud are. And they're playing that B retake. It's going to be the lockdown use, so again, clears them back. No presence from Loud.
The most important thing here is just that Marv stays alive. There is going to be so much spam coming through.
There it is. Reckoning. They want to try and flood into the side as well as the plant's going down. I want to try and take the fight, and it's getting chaotic. It's getting messy. The spam through. Marv 4 stuns in the faces, smokes around. This way, that way, everywhere. You can barely tell what's going on. Nana swarm down at their feet, trying to push them off the spike. No one's going to be sticking this one, but look at this position, look at this angle. Aspas fully aware. Smoke though dropped down. Angle once more, spraying it through in the corner. Too easy. Sticking in those bullets. This is absolutely absurd, and it needs to be a swing. Bacana finishes.
Now that is a climactic round 12. It was looking so finished for Sentinels. Sadak had an unbelievably good round again. The Harbor Reckoning to clear out the Viper ult, and then the clinical execution of Marv's playing within it. It looked so bad for Sentinels. But as the Viper's pit drops and everything is going to hell, Saci from B main takes out Cowanzin just calmly, and takes out Sadak just even more calmly, and then just holds the spike from B main. When the Viper wall then blooms in his face, it doesn't even disturb Saci. He just flashes through it, walks through, kills Aspas, kills less, Viper wall drops, and now 2 years is in a 1v2 after that retake. It was such a good retake, and he just gets punished. And so, at the end of the first half, Sentinels are up 7-5 after losing the damn pistol round. Sentinels showcased a masterclass in util usage, in misdirection, in accuracy, and they did this on a team composition they had very little practice on, running a rookie who had been on break for almost a year, and against the people who not only invented this composition, but happened to be world champions. Sentinels go on to win this map, but eventually, unfortunately, lose the series, which puts them at 1 series win and 3 losses. But despite that, this map, Pearl, shows the world that Sentinels are a real threat. Sentinels have what it takes to beat the best. If there is one team to watch out for the rest of VCT NA, it is undoubtedly Sentinels. Thanks for watching. This video is heavily inspired by a channel called Sovereign Guides. He makes amazing stuff. I'm putting him in the description. Now, if you liked this, please check him out. His content is unbelievably good. Hope you enjoyed and have a great day.